this is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations, and today we're going to make this what they call a card in a box. It's kind of an explosion card that pops open and makes a box so they can set it on their counter, desk, whatever, but yet it'll fold flat for mailing. What we're going to do is we're going to start out with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. We're going to cut that at 5.5. Then we're going to take that same piece of paper and we're going to score it. At 2 5/8, 5 1/4, 7 7/8, and 10. Then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees and we're going to score it at 3. We will then take this little part here at the 2.5 and we're going to cut along these score lines and just take this notch out. We're not going to need that because when we fold it up, the bottom piece will connect, but yet the top pieces we want to flap open. So we'll also cut along these ones. And this is on the 2.5 inch side so that my tops are 2.5 and the bottom is 3. And we really don't need to fold this top one back because we're going to leave that hole. That's going to be the back of our card. So then we're going to fold it over like this and adhere it with sticky strip. So I'm going to take some sticky strip, place it along the edge. This is some great stuff. This is so much more sticky than our regular adhesive, and it'll make sure that our box stays together. Oh, one thing while we're open, why don't we go ahead and decorate the bottom pieces. I've cut out some designer series paper, and that is cut at 2 3/8 by 2 7/8. And we can just go ahead and use some snail and put those on. And then that last piece. The back of the card, as I said, we're going to leave that flat, and that's going to be where we can write our message on our card. So in order to write the message, I wanted just a plain piece of Whisper White. And it'll also give the back some stability, which helps keep it upright. Whereas the other pieces are going to fold over. And for those, I've cut out another piece of paper. And these are for the 2.5 side. They're going to be 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. And I love our designer series paper being two-sided like this, so I can make the top and the bottom a little bit different, yet I'm still assured that they totally coordinate with one another. And if you wanted to, you could leave them the same, but I liked a little bit of variety. Okay, so that's all ready to go. Then I'm going to peel back our sticky strip. And then rotate this over. And there's our box. Okay, do you remember that piece that we cut off? We're going to take and score that. And technically some people would score it ahead before they cut it off, but it doesn't matter. what we're going to do is we're going to score it again. I'm going to go with the 10, 10 and a half, and then the 7 7/8. And then I'm going to just cut it here. And what that does is that makes sure that this here between our score lines is going to be the exact same size inside the box. And then I'm just going to cut that in half so we have 2 pieces. And I've cut them in kind of a Z fold, and that's so it'll help when the box collapses. But these are going to go inside, so what I'm going to do is give it some more sticky strip. So we'll just take and add some to both sides. Let's see, this way, this way. Sorry, I'm trying to do this quickly. And again, I'm putting it to the 2 sides that are going to touch the edge of the box, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. When we get our box back in here, we're going to put these inside, and we're going to have them stick on either side. So, I peel these off. And I'm basically kind of cutting the box into thirds. There's that one. I have one more. And just kind of mess with it a little bit until you can get it so it looks like it's straight across, or pretty much where you're happy with it. Much easier to do without the camera, but you get the idea. Then what I've done is I've used our Backyard Basics stamp set and the matching framelits that go with it. And I stamped each one of these on our various colors over here. I kind of did this in a green, and this in black, blue, some purple. Actually, it's a rich raspberry, so it'll match our cardstock. And I went ahead and did that ahead of time so you wouldn't have to bother with me doing all of that. So I have most of our little pieces here. And I've colored them with some colored pencil, and then I've added some 2-way glue stick and some glitter. Just kind of prettied it up a little bit. I saved the B to show you kind of what I did. I have some colored pencils, and we used to have some Stampin' Up ones, but now we're getting blendabilities, which are a little bit like Copic markers, but man, that's going to be even better. We're going to get some great coloring done with those. Anyway, I just gave it a little color, and just so I didn't see my pencil marks, I went ahead and blended a little bit with our blender pens. That just kind of does away with my marks. Then, like I said, the 2-way glue pen. Just getting a little on the wings and a little across his body. Just kind of wherever I think it needs a little bit of sparkle. Everything always looks better with glitter, don't you think? Then, after it's all wet, we'll dump some glitter on it. Yeah, just a little. And if you've glittered something, you can kind of flick the back of it. It helps get some of the excess loose stuff off. And I dumped it into a V, a piece of paper folded in half, so that it just slides right back into the container. Makes for easy cleanup. But glitter, it's going to get everywhere anyway. Then you just start assembling. So let's see, I started out with some of the flowers. And these are going to go in the back. So I went ahead and stuck that back here. And I thought, gee, that kind of needs a butterfly above that. And this is where you can really have fun with it. You just kind of play around and decide where you're going to stick things and make it look all pretty. Again, because they're flowers, we're going to give it some depth. So since I've got some in the back, on the left, we'll go a little bit forward and go on the right. How about another little flower over here? And let's see, I've got an egg. I can put a robin's egg up here. Then I've got the "You Make Me Happy" sign I'm going to put on the front. And you know, I think that needs a little bit of extra pop. And so I'm going to use some of our Stampin' Dimensionals. These are great. I think almost everything I do has these. Oh, and you can see how I had stamped a butterfly before, and it wasn't quite what I was happy with. So you flip it over and you stamp something else. Okay, so I'll stick that there. Let's see, we've got a butterfly. Put that on one side of our box over here. Let's see, let's go this way. And I had our bumblebee. We'll put him on the other side. Another little pop dot. Okay, then we've got our bird. And then our other tulip. And there you have it. There's our card in a box. How cool is that? Now all you need is your envelope punch board and a custom envelope, and you're ready to go. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by.